Currently taking place in Durban at the Inkosi Albert Luthuli ICC. The WF will take place until the 5th of May. That's tomorrow. This meeting convenes regional and global leaders from business, from government, from civil society to explore solutions to create economic opportunities for all. This is a meeting that aims to eradicate extreme poverty and promote growth nationally, regionally and, of course, globally. Let's cross over to our SABC News reporter who's covering this event, Liabo Setho, to find out a little bit more. Liabo, good morning to you. What can we expect from today?
Good morning, Leanne. Well, it is, of course, the second day of the World Economic Forum on Africa held here in Durban. And it started yesterday. It will be ending on Friday, which is tomorrow. And, of course, we have a whole lot of speakers, a whole lot of sessions that have taken place. Yesterday already we saw the Minister of Finance who had attended several sessions speaking of South Africa's plan in order to start growing. We had a number of interviews with high-profile people that are in attendance here. But we also have a couple of sessions, Leanne, today. We'll be looking at an eye on fragile states. Remember, because this is an Africa forum, so we are focusing a lot on everything that is happening, not only in South Africa, but also regionally in the African continent. Last year, remember, one of the big things that we were talking about was the fourth industrial revolution, which was looking at digitizing the continent and the digital revolution, technological aspect of it. And one of the sessions that we'll be having today will be on closing the digital divide at 9:30. So it will be interesting to find out what strides and what gains we have made since 2016 when we were in Rwanda. Minister Cwele is our Minister of Telecommunications and Postal Services in South Africa. He's also in attendance today, and we'll find out from him just what is in store from his department, who he's meeting with, and how he thinks the connectivity and cost issue of internet services in Africa can be bridged and can be made affordable to our people. Minister Cwele, thank you so much for making time to speak to us. The issue of cost and connectivity in South Africa remains something that crops up every now and then. Of course, the cost of communication is said to be very, very high in Africa, and we need it to be much, much lower. How does a forum such as this one try to address such challenges with regards to connectivity?
Yeah. It's very encouraging that, for instance, as you remember, last year, South Africa is helping a lot of countries in Africa to set up their regional internet exchange points. That program is going very well. It's contributing to reduce the cost for up to 30%, because if we roam through our colonial countries, it increased the cost. To the domain names, we're very happy that some of the African Union now has got a right for its domain name for internet naming. And a South African company won the tender. Somebody contested it in the U.S., but even the courts in the U.S. have said, no, we won the tender fairly. So we'll be having a lot of interesting domain name, .Africa, .Durban, .Siyabonga, and so on.
Very interesting. I cannot go past without talking about the issue of the data must fall. It still has not been resolved in South Africa, and I know that a lot of our viewers still want to know when we will have cheap data prices and connectivity costs, particularly in South Africa.
We are engaging our operators and our regulator, which is the CASA. I'm expecting them to give us a report, because they were supposed to finalize their report in April. So I'm sure that report will be coming to us so that we can share with the public. We have directed them to set up the standards, to set up the regulation, so that we can reduce the cost. But of course, as you know, some of the efforts which are done by our different spheres of government, like municipality, in order to ensure that there's fair access, like a free Wi-Fi or public Wi-Fi system. Yeah. It is helping to bridge that digital divide even in South Africa. But the key thing is to continue to roll out infrastructure in an affordable way. I think that's a key thing, particularly in Africa. That's why we're collaborating with other countries, getting entrepreneurs to see what are the best ways of deploying infrastructure in Africa. But we can deploy infrastructure. The issue of skills have come up very sharp. That we have to focus on skills, on skilling the current workforce, and skilling the future kids and start training our kids in coding very early. That's what most of the developed countries are doing already. So those are some of the things we are trying to replicate as a country so that our kids can really enter into this digital phase very, very early.
I know that you have a couple of meetings lined up with some prominent companies. Do tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, we're very happy that some of the multinational companies like Google, we'll be meeting them later today. They've committed to train our youth in digital skills and digital economy. And they'll put their own funds complementing our own efforts. We also know that some of the companies like IBM will be also launching here. They're committed to train 1 million of our youngsters, even in short courses, so that they can really come into this coding business, internet business. And later today, after lunch, we'll also be launching together with WEF, what is Internet for All, South African version. We're very excited by this. Our own South African companies and operators, they've been making commitments. What is it that they're going to be doing to connect the unconnected, the poor areas at this stage?
Minister Cwele, thank you so much for giving us a lowdown on what is happening, and thank you very much for making time to speak to us. Well, Lian, that was Minister Cwele. You've heard it. Some companies are committing to training a couple of South Africans. I'm sure later on during the conference we'll be finding out how exactly you can do that, because I know that our viewers at home probably would want to find out how they can go about that. And I'll speak to you in the studio.